Alright guys, this is my storage solution against this one wall in the garage. This is a disaster, which I want to work on today. So that's going to be my project for today. So let's get to it. These old shelves are rickety and they're too small. They don't go up high enough. They served me well when I had them, but we've outgrown these things, and I need to come up with a better solution. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove everything off of these shelves, out of these little cabinets, and I'm going to remove everything from that wall. All right, I got everything off of that wall. Looks nice and clean. One of the things that I need to do before I get started is I need to put some insulation in this wall right here. I want to make sure that it's insulated before I put the shelves up against it, because then I won't be able to get to it. So I'm going to do that first. All right, I've got a couple of rows of insulation put up. This is just 3/4 inch insulation, and each panel has an R value of just under 3, and I've got 2, so probably right around 5.5 is the R value, and then plus the brick and the sheathing on the outside, it's probably another 1.5 R, so 7 R, or R value of 7. I'll take that. I had some scrap 1/4 inch plywood left over from my camper build, so I ripped it to width and nailed it up to that wall to cover the insulation, keep everything in, and just to clean it up a little bit. Okay, because this is a garage, my floors aren't exactly level, so right here I've got 11 inches up to my plate. And I come down here and I've got 12 inches to the plate. Actually a little bit over 12 inches. So I don't want to go off the floor. I'm gonna start at this end, since this is gonna give me the shortest side, and I'm gonna go ahead and attach my first wall brace with 1 screw, and then I'll use a level and level it up against the plate, and then I'll go off of that instead of the floor. Okay, the first board is in. I've just got it tacked 1 screw on each end, just making sure it's level. Now I'll go ahead and finish attaching it, and then I'll put my next bottom board on, and then I'll measure up from that. Okay, since this is going to be my shortest end, I'm going to set my 8-foot 2x4 up against that top brace from the bottom, and then I'm going to mark where it hits the top of that brace, and then I'll cut that, and that'll be my spacer all the way down. There's a look at that spacer. I actually measured wrong. I marked it like I said I was, but then I took an additional 3.5 inches off to compensate for the width of the 2x4 above it. But there's my spacer, and that's how I'm attaching the top row. And I'll just carry that down all the way to the end. All right, I've got all my back braces up against the that side wall in the garage, and I've got these marked every 24 inches. Because that's where my purlins are going to go. But now I've got a trick that I actually picked up from Anna White, and I'm going to screw the front braces right onto these that are attached to the wall. And that'll make more sense in a minute, but I'm going to do that now. Okay, I've got my second boards up there and attached. So now this is where this whole thing's going to come together. This is where the magic happens. But first, before I get to that, these are the 4 legs that I'm going to use. And I'm going to use my router and with a round over bit and kind of soften those bottoms there so that they don't split. They're already starting to split a little bit, but they should be fine. All right, let me do that. Then I'll show you the magic. Okay, so the trick here is that once you get everything against the wall, all you have to do is throw up your legs and just screw them right into the cross members, and you'll be perfectly level. You don't have to worry about making measurements and compensating for the slope in the floor. If you see up here, that 2x4 is up a little bit higher. That's because of the slope of the floor. And then it gradually gets a little bit lower, a little bit lower, and then that one's dead on. So all I have to do is remove the 2 screws per cross member, and I can pull that wall off, just pull it out a couple of feet, put my purlins in, and I'm good to go. Don't have to lift anything, didn't have to do any measuring. It's just a very slick way of building shelf walls. And then I'll just take my my portable saw and I'll trim those 3 legs, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, I separated the front wall with the back wall, and I pulled it out and just put a couple of 24-inch supports here. That was real easy to set that up, and that stabilized it. I did that on both ends of the center section. So now I'm adding these center ones, which are a little bit trickier. I can do from the front here, but I have to toenail in the back. So the way I'm doing that is I screw a block in right there, which keeps it stable, and then I clamp it vertically, and then I can just drill my toenail and then screw it in. Works pretty well. Okay, I got those legs trimmed on the top, and I started to put my cross supports here on this bottom center shelf, and that's about as far as I'm going to get today. It's getting late. The neighbors are complaining about the noise. Well, not really, but I would. So I'm going to call it a day, and that's it for this episode. I'm going to try to finish up this week. Well, pretty much all I've got to do now is finish installing these cross braces. I've got quite a few of them that I've got to do, but then along the bottom here and over there for these 2 closets. But once I get all of the cross members in, then all I have to do is cut my shelving board and install that, and then put a wall on this end and another wall here and for the closet, and then a 3rd one over there, and that'll be it. So that's it for this week. I'll talk to you guys later.